Welcome to SuperHoni Super Stories, where the stories of incredible individuals who have turned the biggest obstacles in their lives into miracles and are inspiring others along the way. Today, I am your host, SuperHoni, a.k.a. Honi Borden, in SuperHoni costume, honoring my guests because they have shown up as owning their gift, being a true superhero, a real life superhero. And today I have a very special guest, Eka Joti, who is aka Super Spark, is here with me, and I'm so delighted that he's going to be sharing his story with us today, how he came to this point and what it is that he's doing in his life. But before I begin, let me just say that Eka is the founder of Empowered Journey, and he also is the creator of the League of Super Awesomeness. I like to just throw the super in there because he's so super fantastic. So welcome, Eka. Welcome to the show with us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I'm honored to be here.
Yes, you have it's beautiful. Somehow the universe crossed path and here we are. You have a beautiful story, three miraculous particular areas in your life that took place that has brought you to this point where you are really creating an impact on organizations and leaderships and also like various communities, and this is just beautiful. This is where we're going. But I'd like to just take this moment for you, from your own perspective, share the miracles in your life, how you made this happen, what happened, and what you're doing today.
Yeah, that's a great and full question, and I think the first thing that I want to say, because I put myself in the position of people that are going through a lot of these intense, very challenging things, and in the moment, for me in these different processes, there's not always this elegant, graceful, oh, this is what's happening and I'm just following this. Sometimes it's struggling or just to keep head above water, just to maintain, or that I didn't have some master plan that makes it seem like it was so graceful or something like this. And I think that's really important to know when a person is in it, because it doesn't seem always so graceful or always so clean. It's very messy and everything is happening. I think more and more now, as we were talking about before, a lot of changes, like even every day, seeming hundreds of shifts and growing and evolution. So,
That's right.
So I just want to say that, first of all,
Very important, very important.
I think it's very important. and as far as my own journey, it started in a lot of suffering. And so I was just looking for relief. I was just looking to make it through. I wasn't looking for awakening or happiness even. It wasn't even at that level yet. And I was very blessed to have certain people come in that time. It was about 10 years ago. So the whole journey, the conscious journey, has been about a decade or so. And that first one was really a catalyst, like fire cracking open, all of this, because I was physically very ill, actually, with like no diagnosis of that, and seeing a lot of doctors for it. And also I broke up with my first true love when I was, it was like 2 years, 19 to 21, around there, which was devastating, like so intense. I wasn't quite so good at energy management at that point, so there's a lot of attachment.
You weren't during the dark souls of the journey, that part.
Yes, yes, like the Dark Knight kind of situation, but it was important. It was important to break me open, and I also flunked out of college at that point. So externally, if you were looking in, you would see all of these failures.
That's right.
Right, and this is important too. The way that things work, it wasn't a failure. It was a major shift that I resisted a lot, but it had to happen. It had to happen to clear things out like a wildfire.
That's right.
So once that happened,
for you to be able to get these things out of the way, to be able to see your true self, the real hero that you are, being able to give ability to step forth into that.
Yeah, there was a lot of clutter, a lot of things that needed to leave for that space. So that was great, and that ended up being many years, providing, slowly rehabilitating myself, my body, my emotion, my mind, all of those things. And then, but at a certain point, and this, again, it wasn't my plan, but it just started to happen, I started to become passionate again.
Yeah.
I was very apathetic or like even depressed before, and I just started to become passionate and like in love with life, which really surprised me because I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to, in a very kind of Buddhist way, be with what was happening. What was happening was amazing. So I fell in love with it again. And so that was really a second shift.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that. And I was doing a lot of deep retreating, and I recommend either formally or informally going into silence, going into stillness, and going just to be with yourself and see what comes.
That's right.
And I think it's honestly a luxury at this point, but all the people that I can think of that really are world movers and change makers took time at some point in their life, or many points, to go in and to do this.
Space. I mean, that is our sacred space where we know we can hear the divine. Through the divine ears, we can hear and we can move forward in serving why we're here. It's such a beautiful, graceful place to be.
Right, and I think it speaks to my appreciation for Gandalf and wizards, and actually this word sorcerer.
Yeah.
I really, the core of this word, if people don't really ever think about it, a sorcerer is, their magic has to do with being able to plug in to kind of the raw source of stuff and then bring it out.
Yeah.
And that's so much of what was happening. Just to show up in the present gives you access to what I consider to be one of our biggest lessons right now, our biggest shifts, is that we're powerful.
That's right.
There's a major old and really painful story that we're not powerful, we're not enough. We have to rely on a politician or like a pharmaceutical substance or something else outside of us to plug us in. And I think all of those, to take medicine is important and to work with other people is important, but not at a sacrifice of knowing that there's something in here that is sourcing, that's like plugged in and can create change, it has agency. So for me, in the middle piece was a lot around starting to have agency, like, okay, I want to come back into the world because I feel like there is something good here because I've touched it now.
That's right.
And how can I do it in a way that feels good to me, feels like I'm making choice within this, and that choice is based on what's important to me.
That's right, because through your own evolution of course, through the obstacles, turning them into the miracles, and then being able to have this access of insight and into the bigger picture, but the application and the action step out of it, these are all very important part of the ownership of the mysticism within. And we are mystic being in just this incredible flow and being able to operate from this higher operating system, the advanced operating system.
That's good.
It's really incredible. So,
I like that. I like the more mystic operating system.
It is. We are. And then, and I feel like the reason why you and I really connected at this level, because like, for example, I feel like with entrepreneurs, that's where I spend a lot of the time with the entrepreneurs, because being able to remind them of themselves first, because as their business, they are being an expression into their business, and when they're operating from that highest operating system, that business is going to be operating on that level, and where we are together collectively, this is really going to be enhancing, supporting this new human consciousness. Just beautiful. And your huge work is in these organizations, it is within the communities, and it's just beautiful. So tell us a little bit about what you're doing now, what do you want people to know, and just how do they get a hold of you, and what would you like to share?
That's great. And that's really the third and last kind of real shift that has happened for me in like the last 3 years. But it's exactly, okay, if I want to affect change in the world, as we're talking about engaged mysticism or engaged awakeness, what's the points of leverage in the world? Right. And of course, government is a major leverage point, but actually now we see corporate energy and the corporate structures actually influence the governmental structures and not so much the other way around now. So there's this leverage point in money and in business and in the global marketplace. So for me, when I started to see how can I do the most work most effectively, and where do I feel drawn towards, it was engaged, and it was around money systems, around value, around the corporate relationships, professional relationships. So that's exactly what called me in. And I think that the main thing right now is to get plugged into ways of, for me, I'm very big into systems that help support us, not to be a slave to a system, but anything like a practice or a structure or a modality that helps you in that moment, whoever you are personally, uniquely, to step into something that you feel called to step into, and maybe have a hard time because it's a stretch. So for me, I personally run the League of Awesomeness, which you mentioned, Super Awesomeness, and that's one way of coming into community and coming into principles, practices, applicable knowledge that can be done on a daily basis that begins to create change, like step by step, bite-sized pieces create that change. And I know that you'll have links as part of this video.
I'm going to be posting all of that there so people will be able to have access to you and what the amazing, incredible work that you're doing. And it's just beautiful because, you know, it begins with individual, then it expands. So, you know, we're making ourselves available to expand, bring forth what we know. And Eka, just the last word, if you want to leave with our audience, if you were to just say one thing to the audience about themselves, what would you like for them to walk away with?
I want you to walk away with something I hold very, like, right at my core, which is a story, a belief that says something more is possible, something else is possible, and I have a role in that. I have an ability to influence and shift that, and it can really be the most profound piece of my life where I step in and say yes to this, or no, not anymore to that, that there's this inherent empowerment. That power piece is very important.
Which is the real superhero. As real superheroes, we know this. We know there is an infinite possibility that exists for everything that we desire and dream of. It's beautiful. Eka, thank you so much for being on the show with us. You're super awesome. You're just super awesome with what you're serving in every way. And more superheroes showing up. This community gets better and better. And
find your superhero. That's the last message.
That's right.
Exactly. Just don't worry, it will come out
already. That's right. So Satnam to my friend, thank you so much, and I'll have all the information available for people to be able to get a hold of you from all the different services that also you offer. That will be all also accessible for individuals.
Wonderful.
So, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, SuperHoni.